OhGeesy finally revealed the details of his split with Master Kato and Rob Vicious, and fans aren't completely buying it. The comment section is convinced there's more to this story than what's being shared. LA rapper OhGeesy recently made an appearance on the No Jumper podcast. He discussed his recent accomplishments, healthier lifestyle changes like quitting smoking, and what everyone's been waiting to hear, the real story behind the Shoreline Mafia breakup. According to OhGeesy, Kato and Vicious were left behind because they got too comfortable and were overspending the group's money.
Having to live with people inside of bus, all that. The worst part, we got back and like everybody was smoking every night. I don't even smoke. So they catching smoking fees, they ordering room service, everyone is doing whatever they want to do. I'm there eating McChickens and just keeping my head on straight.
Back when the group was still together, they created some hits like None Major, Musty, Change Your Life, and many others. Fans everywhere were obsessed with these California reps. But then in 2020, news broke that they would no longer continue as a group due to creative differences, or at least that's what they wanted everyone to believe at the time. The Shoreline Mafia originally consisted of 4 members: OhGeesy, Master Kato, Rob Vicious, and Phoenix Flexin. Over time, OhGeesy rose to fame faster than the others and became the fan favorite. He essentially became the face and voice of the group. That came with a lot of responsibility and high expectation. So when you have what you believe are members not taking their roles seriously, eventually changes have to be made. In the past, OhGeesy never really explained what happened with Kato or Vicious, but on the No Jumper podcast, he finally opened up about the situation. Apparently, Kato and Vicious were ultimately costing the group more money than they were bringing in.
When we get back, bro, the tour might have grossed $400,000 because of all the fees, the overdrives, like everything. I think our cuts was like $10,000 each.
The work ethic expected from equal group members wasn't being met by Kato and Vicious. During the podcast, Adam mentioned that he reached out to both Kato and Vicious about appearing on No Jumper, but they never responded. They supposedly ignored his text messages completely. OhGeesy responded that it's just their work ethic, essentially saying they lack motivation and don't have what it takes to succeed in the industry.
I hit them both up over the years to ask them about doing an interview, and neither of them responded. Which is kind of interesting to me, because normally the guys who kind of end up on the outs of the situation normally have a lot to say. But
I think they're independent. Like if they wanted to, they could do whatever they want. Like,
right.
I feel like it's all work ethic.
According to OhGeesy, Kato and Vicious were taking advantage of the hotel stays, smoking in the rooms, ordering excessive room service, barely working, which is why fans in the comments are calling them groupies. Their behavior was reducing the group's earnings significantly. OhGeesy, trying to be responsible, eventually reached his breaking point and said he couldn't continue like this. He confronted them about their lack of dedication, and surprisingly, they understood why they were being removed from the group. OhGeesy concluded by saying that he doesn't speak to Vicious anymore, but occasionally checks in on Kato. Now, fans are saying that while they aren't surprised by this revelation, there must be more to the story that OhGeesy is sharing. Many point out that Rob Vicious and Master Kato were troubled from the beginning, essentially being dead weight from the start. The general consensus is that OhGeesy and Phoenix were the ones who really kept the group together and functioning. This is OhGeesy's version of how the split happened. But a concerning rumor that's spreading rapidly in the comments is that Rob Vicious has a serious robbing addiction. It's exactly what it sounds like. Rob apparently has a habit of robbing people and doesn't even try to hide it. Naturally, fans are speculating about what happened. Did Rob try to steal from OhGeesy, and that's the real issue between them? OhGeesy did mention he only stays in contact with Kato and not Rob, so perhaps there's some underlying conflict between the two that people are now beginning to uncover. There you have it, the long-awaited explanation about what happened with the Shoreline Mafia members. Does OhGeesy's story surprise you, or do you think he's holding back the complete truth about what went down?